internationally for Team Nicaragua. They know they're going to finish in last place in the pool. That doesn't mean they can't walk out of here with a win. However, it will be a tall task against a Venezuela team that is primed for the quarterfinals. It's going to be a good one here, the last of the doubleheader days, and we'll see if this is the time that Nicaragua picks up their first win in either of their World Baseball Classic visits. Delino Bermudez will get the ball, 26 years old. This is his first WBC, although he did pitch in the Dominican in the opener of pool play, an inning in the third, and it was a clean inning. That was, again, one of those nights where Nicaragua was in it for a while. DR pulled away late.
Yeah, look, he faced Austin Wells, Geraldo Perdomo, and Fernando Tatis Jr. to a fly-out, line-out, and ground-out. So, look, he's not going to throw that hard. He's not going to overpower you, but he has a good changeup and a good curveball to go with it.
Well, speaking of overpowering, this lineup's pretty good. Ronald Acuna Jr. leads things off. Then Jackson Churio, we'll dive into that. He is back in there, and that's good for them. Luis Arraez, Wilson Contreras is the DH. Suarez, Abreu, William Contreras behind the plate. Gleyber Torres and Andres Jimenez to round out the order. So Team Venezuela 2-0. Looking to go 3-0 and get into that Wednesday game, which will be for seeding and pride. And I don't know how you want to rank those two things, but they'll face the Dominican Republic in the finale of pool play. Ready to go? Ronald Acuna Jr. swinging at the first pitch. That one at 87 miles an hour. He gets a stamp of approval from Acuna, the former MVP. Bermudez deals, missing upstairs, that one at 84 miles an hour.
Dusty Baker talked very highly about Bermudez. A guy that's going to be around for some time. Doesn't throw hard, but he has that knack of pitching. A little bit of what we see by the starting rotation with Nicaragua. Not a hard throwing guys, but they have good stuff. Fastball, changeup, just try to trick you a little bit.
Ball and 2 strikes here too. Acuna takes outside. Yeah, maybe a little lighter than some other teams on paper when it comes to the starting rotation and the pitching staff on the whole. Dusty Baker knows he's, kind of behind the 8 ball with this, just the way that the schedule broke out. They play 4 days in a row. So teams like Dominican Republic, they'll have a couple of days off before pool play is over. Venezuela, a couple of days off, but Nicaragua playing in the first 4 days of pool play, then they'll have the next 2 off. So this is their last game. And that is high. Acuna Jr. walks, and he is aboard. And he's scored a run in the first inning of each of the first 2 games, and he is looking to add to that here in the first tonight. And that'll bring up Jackson Churio. We're looking forward to seeing him in this tournament. He was injured just before, took their time with him, workouts, make sure he's right. Day off mixed in there as well, so he's back in there and hitting second. The young stud of the Milwaukee Brewers.
21 home runs, 20 stolen bases. Omar Lopez saying, yeah, he's healthy, he's full go. Bermudez, good move to first. That's just more of a show me right there. Little warning, hey, I've got my eye on you.
28-year-old Acuna at first base. The 21-year-old Churio at the plate. Acuna on the move. That throw gets into center field. He'll take second. On his way to third. Throw a little off the mark and late. And another 180 feet for Acuna Jr.
Oh, it's a one-way lead. As soon as he picks up that leg, he's going. I just love when he dives. He's always concerned about where the ball could be. Once he realized it was into center field, the engines were going.
He's a guy that had a 40-homer, 70 stolen base season, but those stolen base numbers down a little bit last year. We'll see how it all shakes out over the course of the summer. Two one is in the air out toward right center field, a long way back comes up a little lame after that. A long run to get there. It's going to be a sacrifice fly. And now all eyes go to the right center field wall to make sure the center fielder's okay.
It's a really good play by Munguia right there. Great route. He really hit himself hard out of that low back area. Churrios once again barreling up a ball right center. Ball was tagged. Gonna run with his mouth open.
You're right.
There we go.
Been on top of that the whole tournament.
Ouch. For some reason, I've never seen anybody defeat the wall. Wall always wins for some reason.
And that part of the wall, that right center field chunk of the wall, there's really not much give to it. There's more give. There's a little pocket in straightaway center field where it might bounce a little bit, but that's a pretty stiff wall. Arise takes inside. He has been just on another planet when it comes to the World Baseball Classic 2023, and so far here in 2026. 5 for 8 with a couple of home runs, and this one on a hot shot to first base. Trujillo makes the play.
Talked to Omar Lopez today. He says, yeah, you know, we had practice earlier in the day, and then afterwards Arias sent me a video. He had about 4 or 5 of his guys again hitting at night. When it worked out, went and got some food, and back at it. He is just a cage rat. He loves to hit, loves to talk hitting. But there's a good group there, a good mix of guys that all they do, they kind of feed off Arise. They're the same way.
I think the lesson there is you don't get that great 3 batting titles by accident.
That's right.
While it seems like he could roll out of bed and hit 320, he puts in the work.
Well, you tell him, hey, best of luck. No, we don't need luck. That's what he'll say to you. No, we don't need luck. We're okay. We're going to hit.
A 1-0 lead here. Wilson Contreras takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. DH back in there. A couple of hits in the opener. And in on the corner for a strike, but a run scores. The Suns for Nicaragua tonight. Chase Dawson leads it off. Alegria at second. Munguia, we saw him in center field. Vientos is the DH. Trujillo, Cuthbert, Sandoval, Orozco, and Rivera rounding out the order. First pitch swinging, and a sky-high pop that's going to drift into the seats, out of play. 0-1 to Chase Dawson. It's Yoendris Gomez pitching for Venezuela. Those are his numbers last year. It's been a bit of a journeyman as of late. This is his first time in the WBC. 26 years old, trying to make the Tampa Bay Rays opening day roster.
Yeah. But people in the organization think that if he doesn't make that starting rotation, he'll be in the bullpen. He's got no more options left, so more than not, he'll be there. He's got great stuff. Velocity has ticked up from last year.
And I would imagine for Team Nicaragua tonight, as they get ready for this start and this game against Gomez, that whatever time they'd usually spend looking at video was a little bit longer. He throws 7 different pitches.
Yeah.
There's a lot to absorb.
He's got to start off the fastball, though. Lefties have had good numbers against him. That's the pitch he's worked on more. He threw more of a slurvy curveball. He's gone more to a cutter.
Benjamin Alegria, the second baseman for Nicaragua, takes low and away. 28 years old. Was their best hitter in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. 1 for 4 so far in this one. That's what they saw a few years ago. Base hit, right center field. Takes a big aggressive turn, but he'll get back in time.
Well, this is his 5th hit right there in the World Baseball Classic. Obviously counting the 2 exhibition games as well. Just going the other way, not trying to do too much. Short. Nice little swing. Hard turn. You got to get back.
Now Ismael Munguia. I think we've all been impressed with him, getting to see him in this his 4th game of the World Baseball Classic. He's played a pretty good center field. He's gotten himself some hits. He's 5 for 10, but he's just played with so much energy, so much passion. And for a guy who played winter ball, he's also coming in a little bit more in midseason form than some others.
Yeah, I've always said this. You want to make a ball club out of spring training? You want to have a good World Baseball Classic tournament, you got to be able to be prepared. The only way you're going to do that is by playing winter ball. Big believer in that.
Been so blessed to rack Dusty Baker's brain about all things baseball over this last week or so. Just listening to him and the philosophy of how to, get going for a season, whether it's the spring or the winter into the spring or now into the regular season. Those are his numbers in the Winter League. 1-2 is off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It was off. Paul Clemens behind home plate. Tight zone.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Bluff at first base and a foul ball back. We'll do it again. Clemens, the home plate umpire. Alejandro Piquero from Panama is over at first base. Lance Barksdale, a major league umpire, the crew chief at second. Trent Thomas from Australia is over at third tonight. Two and two. Now, thinking that Nicaragua's got to get aggressive and make things happen. 3-2. I know there's less than 2 outs. Do you think they start runner? The runner?
I would like to start the runners. I think Munguia has a really good awareness of the plate and the strike zone. He's going to make contact. This guy doesn't strike out. He's going to put the ball in play. Got to trust your hitter here.
Runner goes. Slap
just
foul.
like that, right? It's an in-between striker ball. You really don't know, but I think for Nicaragua, this is like their Luis Arraez. I know he's hitting third, but doesn't have the power that people may expect from a third hole hitter, but he's going to put the ball in play. He's going to compete in the at-bat, and he knows the strike zone.
This will be the 15th pitch of the inning for Gomez. Thinking the runner might go again. Quick check.
Remember Dusty Baker, Cincinnati Reds, he said to me, you want to, this is the reason how important winter ball is. You want to make the team out of spring training, you got to go to Puerto Rico and play for Team Caguas. And I said, all right, I'll go do it.
Do it.
No other choice. Ended up making the team.
That hits the runner. And we'll see if Alegria is okay. He was obviously off on the pitch on 3-2, so did in fact go. I think it got him right on the knee.
It just caught him. And he was looking up, which is the right thing to do, right? Run with your head up. Just couldn't get out of the way. That ball was a rocket.
Yeah. So he's out, he's erased, and Munguia takes his spot at first base, now 2 away. Not a whole lot he could have done. Thought it got his knee, got his foot, but either way, 1 on and 2 out for Mark Vientos.
Munguia gets rewarded for the hit, though.
Right.
So again, speed on the bases. Mark Vientos looks a lot better. He had some good takes, good swings, and hitters counts. It's a spring training for Mark Vientos as well.
Save for first.
Ball he was leaning.
Vientos the DH tonight, again trying to balance A, the WBC, but B, the major league season, and gear up for that. So Dusty doing a great job of getting him off his feet. Another close play, no slide that time. I don't think Venezuela's going to challenge, although it looked close. That's 2 disengagements. Pitcher does have a third. If you get the runner, great. If not, turns out to be a balk. Runner does not go. Vientos takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. 1-1.
A lot of sliders Vientos has seen in this tournament.
Here it comes to Vientos. He swings and misses at 94.
He's got some life on that fastball, doesn't he? Little upshoot.
They get behind their starter. 1-2. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. A strikeout for Gomez. A 1-0 lead for Venezuela. And single games the next 2 days. An off day here in South Florida. And then the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the finals all roll through this ballpark. It'll be an awful lot of fun. This tournament is always great. Eugenio Suarez leads it off for Team Venezuela. Then Wilyer Abreu and William Contreras. A 1-0 lead. A sac fly from Jackson Churio in the first. Suarez back with Cincinnati for 2026. It's 2 for 4 in some limited action in this tournament, but one of those 2 a home run, which he had plenty of the first go around with Cincinnati.
Wades. Oh, just missed it.
Shallow left. Who's going to take it? Dawson, the left fielder.
I mean, his back foot is basically facing the second baseman. Where most guys have their back foot facing kind of the first base dugout angle, he's actually got it turned completely, which is very weird.
What does that help him do?
I think it helps him with his load. I mean, look at that back foot where it's at. And I think it helps him with his load, getting engaged with that back hip and getting more connected with the backside. Being able to slow everything down. Like his back foot is basically the trigger to a big rubber band that you're trying to pull to then extend it and let it fly. The slower he does it, the better angle he gets off of it.
Abreu bounces one to second base for the second out. I know one's a righty, one's a lefty, so obviously they are opposites, but you say kind of twisted in and engaged with that hip, and I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, Juan Soto, he does it with his front foot. He really turns that foot in. Is it something similar concept?
Very similar. Both, you know, it's like saying, hey, you want to get to a place. It doesn't matter if you take 2 left turns or 2 right turns, as long as you get to the spot. And I think for both of them, they get to that spot of when they want to load. And it's just very consistent to be able to see the baseball and make contact with it. I feel like the difference here in Contreras is back foot.
To third. Deep. And the throw across the diamond. Close play. Got him. Excellent play by Cuthbert. But as long as they get the defending champion, Japan. But it'll be in this ballpark as we are underway here in the bottom of the second inning. Emmanuel Trujillo to lead things off. And Cheslor Cuthbert, those 2 guys hooking up on that slick defensive play to end the last half inning. Christian Sandoval bats third. 1 ball and 1 strike. First WBC for the 24-year-old Trujillo.
those sliders, how he throws them. I mean, they start at the heart of the plate, and then they just fade away to the left-handed batter's box. I mean, that's got some sharpness to it. Those are the good ones. They're a strike out of the hand, and the hitter just has no time to react and identify if it's a strike or ball.
1-2. Goes right back to it. If it's working, we are going to see a lot of it.
Just the location where it begins. I mean, that's heart of the plate. As a hitter like Trujillo, power bat, there's just not much you can do. You think it's a fastball, you think out of the hand it's a strike, then 3/4 of the weight.
It's like you run out of bat. Chesler Cuthbert. Foul one at home plate.
It's the ability to go east to west. You know, that's how you get big leaguers out. He's got the stuff.
Cuthbert has been a big leaguer, hasn't been in the show for a little while, but 33 years old. Part of a championship team with the Royals in 2015. Got a ring. This one out toward right center field. Acuna Jr. is there, 2 away. Christian Sandoval will come to the plate. His first World Baseball Classic. Another one of those high contact kind of hitters. But a swing and miss. That the fastball.
I like what I've seen from Sandoval. 2-hit game versus the Dominican team. Definitely going to put the ball in play. Man, there's that slider. I
mean, it's just been electric stuff for a guy who's signed by the Yankees when he was just 16 years old. Here we are 10 years later, looking to compete at a high level here in this WBC and compete for a big league job in 2026. He's looking good so far. Blows him away. 95 elevated. Couple of strikeouts in the inning for Gomez. For season, be back in an Astros uniform this year. Will Omar Lopez, and it's interesting because there's like that Dusty Baker coaching manager tree, right? He's done such a great job, Dusty has, as he's doing with Nicaragua here, of giving back to the game in so many different forms. And if Omar Lopez is on that tree, he could very easily be a big league manager sometime soon.
We've been fortunate enough in this round to have incredible managers represent their countries. But, man, when you talk to Omar Lopez, the fact that let's just say this, the Houston Astros are very lucky to have him.
Bouncer to the mound, Gleyber Torres retired.
How witty he is, how bright, he's got the pulse of a clubhouse. The communication aspect, a bilingual guy, loves the game of baseball. I mean, if he was to be a manager, whoever the team might be, they'll be extremely pleased with the job he's going to do on an everyday basis.
One away here in the third. Andres Jimenez swings.
There are managers you go and okay, you get a vibe and a feel, okay, but then there are managers that walk in and you can just sense they're in the clubhouse. Omar Lopez has that aura.
Yeah. Bounced wide of first.
Dusty Baker, right? When he walks around, there's his, it just feels like he's lit up. His whole body's lit up.
Yeah.
And you, right? The first time I met him, wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be my future manager.
And there's so much baseball knowledge in there. You know, I'll take it behind the curtain. We talk to the managers before every game, every day that we've been here, and when we talk to Dusty, We get some stuff for Nicaragua for sure, but it's just baseball chat, and I love it. I mean, I barely talk. I just listen to you guys go back and forth. It's great.
I've always said this: a manager, when they speak in front of a team, the message lasts 7 or 8 years. It lasts your whole career. The good ones, the good speeches, one ear out the other. The great ones, they last 7 or 8. And I've been fortunate to have Tito Francona, Buddy Black, Dusty Baker, Bob Melvin, some of the greats, and all their messages, I can talk about them from like right now, like it happened today.
Yeah. 5 managerial stops took all of those franchises and organizations to the postseason. Ultimately, a World Series championship as a manager in Houston, a champion as a player in LA back in the early 80s. Couple of hops, sharply hit, but right at Alegria, and they're 2 away. There's Ronald Acuna Jr., who walked, stole a base, and then moved to third on the errant throw, scored on the sac fly, but since then everyone else has been retired. Count that sac fly as an out. It's 8 in a row. Ball and no strikes to Acuna.
You look at the stuff 86, 87, you say, okay, he's going to have a hard time with this lineup, right-handed heavy lineup. Hasn't been the case.
You didn't figure he was going to rack up, 15 strikeouts today. But if he could just stay off the barrel, he'd have some pretty decent success. 5 ground ball outs to this point. That one's in the air, however, and it's hit pretty well, and it's going to go a long way, and it's going to go out. A home run for Ronald Acuna Jr.
Decided to hit all the baseballs the other way. 30 swings, 25 home runs the other way. That's the power this guy's got. Full display right now on that swing. A backdoor cutter slider. We've seen that swing for a long time.
His first home run in the WBC, and he scored both of the runs in this one. Jackson Chourio has the other RBI, the sacrifice fly. I was just about to say with Acuna, he's that new age leadoff hitter. He can get on base and he can steal bases, but you also want some pop in that #1 spot in the order, and boy does he have it.
Oh, he's got it. It's the speed, it's Gold Glove defense, and then the power to go with it. Talking about the cutter that he just hit.
And now Chourio gets into one, deep right center. And Sandoval tracks that one down. A run home on the homer. He knew it. He's done it enough. 2-0.